Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Nayeon has dropped the song of the year with ABCD, and I could not think of a better person to do it than her. We did get a chance to watch the song and the title track and even listen to the album live on stream last night at midnight, but unfortunately, SM Entertainment took down the entire live stream because during the hours leading up until the release of Nayeon's album, we did play Monster by EXO, and SM does not like me. They do not want me to play any of their songs on live, or they block the video instantly. You want to know what the craziest thing is? We played other songs from other artists and other groups, and none of those companies had a problem with me playing it on a live stream. In fact, the only restriction that they put on it was just like a monetization thing, which is normal. That's completely fine. I don't have a problem with that. But SM specifically is not letting me do it. So with that nonsense aside, instead of re-uploading and re-editing that, I decided to just do a review of the whole album because I do think that there's a lot to talk about with this one. The chat had a lot of mixed opinions when we were doing it live, so I think this is going to definitely be something that is worth talking about. Now that I've had like a day to sit with it and I've gone back and listened to the songs, I think it's the perfect time to go through and give you some of my thoughts and opinions on the whole thing. So let's start with the title track, ABCD. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think this is Song of the Year material. It's that good. The instrumental alone is insane. They showed this off like before the album came out, so I already had like really high expectations going into it. But even then, I could not have expected this music video to go in the direction that it did. It is fantastic. I know that there are a lot of other soloists and other groups that are coming out with songs in the next half of the year, but I think it's going to be very hard to beat ABCD. And for that reason, for now at least, I think this is Song of the Year. A lot of people have been comparing this song to Crazy in Love by Beyonce. And I'm going to be honest with you, yeah, there are definitely some similarities. It is that, you know, R&B / hip hop inspired pop music that you would hear in the early 2000s. But at the same time, if you look at the music videos for both of these songs, you can tell that the inspiration was clear. I think they did a very good job of taking that inspiration and mixing it in with Nayeon's signature sound so that it could still stand on its own and still sound unique enough. But man, that instrumental is perfect. I think a lot of people need to give it more credit because I think that's the piece that brings everything together. So overall, ABCD is a 10 out of 10 for me, and I think it's definitely the contender for Song of the Year. Track 2 is Butterflies, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what the issue is, but I think this song is just a little bit too basic. Like, the composition doesn't really go anywhere. It just ends up feeling flat, and the subject matter is not complex enough for you to grab onto anything. So yeah, it's a little bit too generic and it makes the entire thing just forgettable. Track 3 is Heaven featuring Sam Kim. I'm not really familiar with Sam Kim, but I think he's one of the standouts of this entire project, especially because he brings in such a needed energy to the whole thing. At the beginning of Heaven, it's kind of slow. It almost felt a little bit boring, but when he came in, the energy, the vibe, everything about it just switched entirely. He does a little bit of harmonizing, and then at the end, he does a rap. So overall, he did a phenomenal job, and it made me enjoy the song a lot more. But Nayeon, again, does a very good job. It's not really her fault that it feels a little bit slow. That's just how the song is. And I could definitely see myself listening to this a lot more in the future. Now, don't get me wrong, he's no Weinstein. I still think Weinstein had the best feature on any of Nayeon's songs, but I think Sam Kim does a pretty good job on this track, and he brings his own flavor. So overall, it's a pretty good song. Track 4 is Magic featuring Julie of Kiss of Life, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I love this song. I think it's very catchy. My only problem is actually Julie. Now, let me explain. I love Kiss of Life. I think they're fantastic. They're one of the best new groups that exist right now. But with this song specifically, I think Julie's lines were too short. Like, she comes in and then within like less than like 15 seconds, it's like she's done. We don't even get halfway through the song by the time that she's finished with her verse. And then it's like, that's it. Like, the rest of the song is just like, yeah, a few vocals and ad-libs here from Julie, but the rest of it is just Nayeon. It almost feels like this feature was wasted and it had a lot more potential. Plus, she comes in by saying, abracadabra, alakazam, which is like a little bit too on the nose given the fact that the song is called Magic. But other than that, it sounds great and it is very catchy, so I do really like this song. Haligali, in my opinion, is the worst track on this album. I'm not really a big fan of the way that it sounds. Maybe it's the producer's fault. This one was produced by Lee Ching-hyuk of Akmu. I'm not familiar with Akmu, so maybe a lot of their other stuff sounds like this. But to me, it's missing that extra special sauce to take it to the next level. So yeah, I don't know. It's not bad, but it's just not the vibe that I'm looking for from like a Nayeon album, for example. Track 6 is called Something, and it sounds like something that I've heard before, and that's probably because it is. You know, every group and every solo artist has to release a song that sounds exactly like this. Maybe it's the New Jeans effect. I don't know what it is, but I have heard this at least 10 different times within the past year. It was kind of cool at first, but now it's getting old. I'm getting tired of it. I want something new, and this is not it. It's really disappointing. This is not what I want to hear from Nayeon, so I don't know if I like this less than Haligali, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Track 7 is Counted, and I think this is a strong ending to the album, considering how, like, you know, all over the place the rest of the album kind of felt. This brings us back down. It helps ground the entire thing, and it's a great outro to the project. It's still very consistent with the rest of it while giving it more of a ballad effect. So yeah, honestly, it's a good ending to the album. I have no complaints from Counted, so pretty good and strong ending. You want to know what the crazy thing is? A lot of people are actually saying that this album had the better B-sides compared to the Nayeon album, and I heavily disagree. I don't think there's a single B-side on this album that beats a B-side from the Nayeon album. I think that's crazy. They gotta go back to listen to that one, because that album is really, really well done. It has a lot of variety, and it has enough creativity in it that keeps you coming back for more. This one doesn't really do that for me. But I don't know, I could be wrong about that. Let me know what you guys think about the B-sides, because I do think this had the better title track, but B-sides, no sir, no sir. That goes to the last album. With that being said, that is going to do it for the review. Right now, it's sitting at like a 70 score, which I think it's fair. I'd probably put it between like a 70 to a 75 out of 100. But let me know what you guys thought about the album and what your score would be. But with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.